Hello everyone, my name is RWBY and welcome to my reaction to RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 2, Altercation at the Auspicious Auction. That is not, we didn't have the title for the first episode before it came out, but that was a place of particular concern. Now we have Altercation at the Auspicious Auction, so we are going to see quite a lot of alliteration, quite a lot of assonance in these episode titles, which is pretty cool. That's sort of the theme that they're going with this time around. And so just to get into everything first, I am going to have a lot of time in these reaction videos, both before and after the reactions themselves, like I've always said. If you do want to see the reaction, you can always just skip ahead in the playhead. It is neatly marked, it will always be neatly marked like that. But first and foremost, as always, I do have a Patreon. If you don't want to have to wait the full week after these episodes drop, I am going to be uploading for $5 a month early access. The Sunday morning following each episode, you will be able to watch my reaction videos to RWBY Volume 9. And it hasn't sunk in until today that RWBY is back, if I'm being completely honest. And I know that I had this whole thing last time of just, oh, I can just look at it on my monitor forever. I can just, I don't even need to watch the episode. I can just look at the thumbnail and title and description on my monitor, and that's fine. You know, I can get serotonin just by doing that, and that's still true. But only today, once I started watching reaction videos, and I've seen quite a bit of reaction videos already today, did I finally see, or finally understand, like, no, it really starts to feel like RWBY is back. So I am recording this about like 8 or 9 hours after the episode's been out, so I've had the time to watch all those reaction videos because I have a day job, I work on Saturdays, so I'm not able to watch RWBY the moment that it airs. And it's just been so great watching all these different reaction videos, finally feeling like, no, we are back, we are able to have these conversations and enjoy this thing together, right? When I was first watching it, it hadn't sunk in that, like, it's a together thing, because the conversation hadn't really started yet. I was right about to finally get into it, but I hadn't talked about it with anybody, right? So it's just, we're finally able to have these conversations. And I've already put out quite a few videos, too. I was looking at my, just sort of my YouTube menu behind the scenes, and it's like, oh wow, I've actually put out quite a consistent batch of videos in the past month. Like, I remember, like, this off season has been so long. It really has, and you know, for one reason or another. And I might put out a video like once a month, you know. After a certain point, I just sort of decided to put a halt on things and prioritize other things, and really this channel has been active, but not so active. And now it's like, oh, I've put out like 10 videos in the past month alone, because we're finally starting to get things. It's finally coming back, and now it's here. One of those videos was a theory video based on mostly the Volume 9 opening, which is a theory video that Alex, the girl who fell through the world, never actually left. She is still here, right? We are still in this ever after. She is still here with us. And basically, it boils down to the fact that I don't even care how she got on this island. Like, when I make a theory video, I don't tend to theorize, you know, based on exact clips and thinking, okay, oh no, this is going to feed into that scene later down the line, or just looking at the context for each scene. Like, I don't really tend to dissect things too much. So the reason why, and what I want the main takeaway for that video to be, which you can go watch it still, is that Volume 9 is going to feel a lot like Volumes 4 and Volume 6, narratively speaking. And it is going to be able to open up the world in ways that we could not do on Remnant. There are things you can't learn on Remnant while you're on Remnant. You have to leave Remnant, and now we've left Remnant, and now we can learn those things, because Alex is the perfect person to teach us a lot about the world that she left, now that she's been on this island, this ever after, for so long. So I don't necessarily care how she is still here, and time is weird on Ever After. Maybe time doesn't necessarily exist, even though, like, little is young. That doesn't necessarily mean that people age. because time can still pass, but you don't age in that time, something like that, right? I had this one part of that theory where she was a changed girl when she came back home because either somebody else came home in her stead or only a part of her was able to return home. And maybe it's at the end of this volume, Team RWBY's gonna have to pick a part of themselves to return home, and the other parts of them are going to have to stay on the island. Something like that. I don't necessarily know. And I do kind of think that not everyone's gonna make it back. I remember in Volume 4, when Crow was poisoned by Tyrion, I'm thinking, like, there's literally no way that Crow dies, because Crow is still too important to the narrative for this thing to actually matter. But now, I don't think Jean is important enough to stick around, and that's a really weird thing to say, but I feel like his character arc could honestly go anywhere. I feel like Neo's character arc could honestly go anywhere. I don't think either of them is guaranteed to stick around past Volume 9, but I do, on a sense, think that all of Team RWBY is. If a member of Team RWBY does not, it would be RWBY, depending on how this arc goes. I don't want to eat those words later, but I might have to. But essentially, Alex is what ties the Ever After and Remnant together in terms of the narrative. She is going to be what the heroes are able to learn the most from, potentially. In the last episode, the last reaction video, I said that I wanted that episode to largely feel normal, have Team RWBY regroup, go over some things, then end on a massive cliffhanger to usher in how Volume 9 is going to be. And that was basically what happened. Like, that's basically all kind of true. It ends with, I think we're in a fairy tale, and here's this wide shot of the Ever After. The reason why the first episode is largely... I can understand why people are not so satisfied with the first episode is that after 2 years of previews, we already had 7 minutes of content, and we all wanted to get into the new stuff as fast as possible. But we already saw half of it, so there was only so much new stuff that we could possibly see. And at the same time, I can't really complain about that, because at least the episode didn't waste any time in moving things forward. It was constantly on the move. It had a lot of scenes in it that established what they needed to establish, and then they moved, right? So now we are able to move forward into episode 2, chapter 2, and for this episode, I kind of want to just go into my expectations again. I think that by the end of this episode, we're probably going to have seen everything that we could see in the beach, tropical forest, introductory area of the Ever After. So that starts off with Weiss recapping what happened. That starts off with Yang telling everybody how she lost her arm, going to the Red Forest area to get that arm back. We're gonna see Penny's sword, because that's something that happened in the previews as well that we know happened on the beach section of the place. In the Red Forest section, once we get there, I do believe we're gonna meet the Curious Cat, voiced by Robbie Daymond. The Cheshire Cat, but apparently it was leaked at some point that their name is actually the Curious Cat. I don't know how that works, but they're funky. I love them. Robbie Daymond is not the most trustworthy voice actor after Fire Emblem Three Houses and Persona 5 Royal, but I know that he does voice good boys as well in other, like Final Fantasy 15, I think. He has a character that's like innocent, not untrustworthy. So I don't know. Like, look, I come into this with a personal bias, right? I do hope that this chapter, even if it is just another cliffhanger, I don't care. I do hope that this chapter at least gets into either Jean or Neo. Like, there's only so much. This episode, I feel like, is going to establish the rest of the things that we can kind of already tell before it gets into the more bonkers stuff. And maybe Jean's a more bonkers thing that they have to get into later. I don't know, but like, ultimately, I just kind of see it as this episode's job to cover them. But at the same time, I do also want this episode, in one small way or another, to just have more of that nonsense. I want it to do some things that just don't make sense. I want the island, the Ever After, to continue to kind of mold the way that the heroes move forward, like it did with RWBY in that time loop, and like it potentially showed Blake the way forward because she was the one who wanted to move forward the most. Something like that. I don't know. I want to see more of that. And ultimately, as I said at the end of for the previous video, I do still want this chapter to end on some massive plot bomb, whatever that looks like. I just want to be able to get there, and I get the feeling that I'm probably going to be saying that like at the start of every reaction video until it happens, whenever that is. But it's just gotta happen. It needs to. If we're in a place like this, you can't have this and not have some massive plot bomb, like the Lost Fable, or like the Maidens were introduced to Pyrrha in Volume 3, Chapter 6. Like, it has to happen at some point. A couple other things. We know that the narrator is not Jean's sister. A lot of people thought that that would kind of connect to Jean's story for this volume. It is a different voice actress from the one who played Jean's sister, though. And I should talk a little bit about Roman Holiday, because a lot's happened in that for the past week. I'm halfway through this book now. The last reaction video, I don't believe I had even started reading this book at all. But I am enjoying the book, and I do think I might need to make a I watched Roman Holiday so you don't have to video at some point to get people up to speed about like what the book presents, how it might be relevant to Volume 9, what parts of it won't be. I don't know. But I would need to finish the book first. And that is about everything I need to get into before getting into Volume 9, Chapter 2, once again, Altercation at the Auspicious Auction, otherwise known as Yang getting her arm back from the raccoon. And this episode is 17 minutes 40 seconds long, basically the exact same runtime as the previous one, but we haven't seen half of this episode already, so it should feel a lot longer, overall a lot more gratifying than Chapter 1. So let's get into it. Yes. I'm not going to be singing, but this... I loved analyzing this opening for the intro video. I loved analyzing it for the theory video that I made. Overall, this is such an amazing episode, or such an amazing opening. Casey Williams and Martin Gonzalez held an Instagram livestream Q&A that I'll probably be covering on this channel as well, sort of getting everyone up to speed about what the two of them had said in that. I got all the clips, I recorded on my end, so I am gonna do that. I might also make a sort of like news roundup video, because a lot of different like little smaller pieces of news have come out about this volume that I don't feel like a lot of people know yet. Like the fact that Alex Abraham is no longer composing on the score, but Martin Gonzalez, Martin Gonzalez, Martin de Lima, Peter Jones, Matthew Wong as well. So people who did contribute to Volume 8, but now Alex Abraham is not contributing to Volume 9. And a lot of other smaller things like that. But let's get into Alex. What secrets will you have for us as this volume goes on? I need to know. I don't think I've ever been so excited for a character at all compared to Alex. More of the narrator. Are we going to? No? Okay.
So are we just gonna stand around thinking about this in silence, or...
Oh my god.
I know this place is weird, but a fairy tale. I mean, that's impossible. What we've seen is improbable, but that doesn't mean we're in an
still not having a good time with Little.
Seriously entertaining this? Do
we
you have a better explanation for what's going on?
Yeah.
Let's try to be more logical, shall we?
Yeah.
From the sky. Ruby made friends with a tiny mouse. Friends! Blake and I got caught by
not the word friends, please.
You got
We've had a little too much with that word.
What was it that you said?
A talking raccoon riding on a purple wagon filled with trash. Yes.
Yes.
That.
Okay, I see your point of view. I am going to go over here now.
Yeah, it's like, this is only so logical, Weiss. We can only... Oh my goodness.
As crazy as it sounds, something about this is familiar.
What? I'm...
The girl who fell through the world.
Yes, Blake is the one who knows that. I was saying in that other video. Oh, that's so pretty. That is so pretty.
Blake,
oh my god.
make-believe.
Is it though? All fairy tales come from somewhere. Blake looks gorgeous in that shot, by the way.
It's where I live.
Aww.
Can you tell us more about it? Have you ever heard the name Alex?
And Alex.
No,
Is that a purpose?
they've never
Alex
never
was
seen another human before.
met with the hunter mice. Got trapped in vines, bought a jabberwocker, and got her knife stolen by a talking raccoon.
Yeah, and then she beat the Red King at a board game. Met the Curious Cat, the Rusted
Curious
Knight,
Cat, Rusted
and
Knight,
finally got out through...
the tree.
The tree.
Yes. Alright, so that's our roadmap. Let's go.
Alex, Yang's arm. Ruby, you're still missing Crescent Rose.
I'm still like, I'm just taking in this scenery.
The Jinxie Peddler?
Jinxie Peddler.
The only talking raccoon I know.
Yeah.
Do you know where he might be?
Oh, and Weiss is back to that.
Of course.
The red,
You lead the way.
the red forest. Oh my god. Oh, Little's just a tiny little friend.
So the town is just ahead, right?
Again, beautiful shots everywhere in that first scene. It was just so gorgeous.
thinking,
Everything
If
that
we're
went
going
into
to go
that.
to this town, we need to be careful. Alex didn't know their customs and ended up starting a war among the townsfolk. Trouble followed her everywhere she went.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but she was kind of a mean person, right? She lied and cheated her way through most of the book.
She was trying to survive. The morals of those old stories are so simplistic.
How many times have you tried to cheat your way through things, Team RWBY? You've done that a lot. Don't start acting like...
The town's just up ahead. The Jinxie Peddler always stops by our village before he goes to town.
Do they steal stuff from you guys too?
Steal? Never. They just take the things we're not looking at. Fair's fair.
Sounds like a legitimate.
And once again goes back to sleep.
How did they manage to steal your arm anyway?
I was knocked out from the fall. When I came to, that sneaky raccoon had already grabbed my arm and ran off before I could stop him.
Dang.
So would you say he caught you unarmed?
Oh my god, Blake is... Oh, oh god. It's happening!
What?
Almost. We're gonna get there pretty soon, though, if they're already doing it now.
We'll find a way
Wait,
out of here and
I almost thought I heard Blake and Yang talking a little bit more. They were really just going on ahead, huh? They really don't even care.
It's all gone.
They're in their own little
Nothing
fairy
left
tale
for me to go
already.
back to.
Oh my god.
Just like Beacon.
Is it, though? We know we can go back,
Best
Weiss.
you could for Atlas Weiss.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough. We hatched a crazy plan that put a whole kingdom
What is
at
this?
risk, and we don't even know if we saved the relics from...
What was that camera angle doing for a while? I mean, I get it, but I kind of don't.
Maybe John and Winter were able to get them out.
Yeah, they don't even know if the relics were... They don't even know that yet. Despite us. You're still you, despite everything.
I know that Penny... I know that was a lot to hear.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen RWBY look more emo than she just did. I gotta be honest, that was an effective camera angle. Alright, here we are at the Red Village now, apparently. But yes, there is this bridge. They're sectioned off these different areas, that's correct.
So this is the entrance to the other acre, you called it?
Yep. All we do is cross the bridge and we'll be... Well, Wherever over there is.
You don't know?
Nope,
Yeah, I mean,
never been this far from home. Oh,
they have an idea. They don't.
Maybe you should.
They've never had the execution
I have
before.
no idea how to go back. Maybe I'll live by this bridge.
Oh, dang.
I'll handle this.
Little's just
My
like,
very first house, gonna find my purpose in my best house.
Would you like to come with us?
oh my god, Little. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Probably the best idea. Yeah, you've seen this shot as well. So we have these toy villagers. Birthday party is hereby announced.
Just act like you belong, everybody.
Don't start walking like that, though.
Long, but I'm still just small.
Oh my god, that's so Little.
There it is.
Little is what this volume
So what's
needs
the
so
strategy?
much.
Just start roughing them up or what?
In the book, Alex had to barter with Jinxie for her dagger.
Yeah, I think I'd rather hit him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, I saw this in the intro. I was like, what is that, like, musical theater thing?
He's adorable.
And a lot older than I remember from the book.
I am Jinxie, and these
So they do age in a
are
sense.
the finest treasures of the acre.
And
I don't see my
yeah,
arm.
where's
All
her
of
arm
Jinxie's
though?
treasures are just other items in disguise, so that people think they're buying something extremely valuable.
Okay.
Dang.
So, which one is Yang's arm?
I get a sense it's the middle
What does
one.
your heart tell you? That's how Alex knew.
I mean, that one looks roughly arm-sized.
Yeah, it does look kind of like her arm, so that's true.
Ruby, there's something about that one.
Oh, it's Penny's sword. That's Penny's sword. That's correct. I don't know what that could be though. If it's that could be maybe something from Neo. I don't even know.
How are we going to bid without any money?
I don't think there's any money in the ever after. Jinxie just names whatever price he wants.
What does Jinxie want from Alex?
Her saddest memory. And her happiest.
Sold for a hug.
Hugs are very valuable.
Maybe this won't be so bad after all.
Oh my goodness.
A golden scepter. You.
Huh?
The bidding starts at
No, I was the first one to.
knowing what it is to feel loved. A fair price.
You have to give that up? Oh.
Knowing what it's like to feel loved by royal decree.
Sold.
Wait, that's my arm.
Whatever it is,
At
it's
least
royal
she didn't have to
property
give
now.
that up.
No price is too high.
And she would relearn it anyway in a couple chapters from now.
We tried it your way, Blake.
You.
Ruby, what are you doing?
She wants that.
Starts at enough hope to fill this jar.
Oh.
You don't have enough, do you?
I don't think she does. No.
Why, you little...
That is Little's name, yes.
You can't touch it until the deal is done.
Yeah. Oh, it's another mouse. It's another mouse. Yeah, he's got the arm.
I'm going for it.
Oh, what are you doing, Blake? And gunshot. All right. Yeah, let's get out of here. We have some things to go over. Let's go.
Ruby, come on.
Give that hug back. Yeah, you didn't earn it. Oh god, this looks beautiful too.
Those people take auctions very seriously. High five? High five?
We're doing the same thing Alex did. We're ruining everything.
That's your biggest concern?
Is
right
it
now?
ruining, or is it what she
I read
did
so
that
many
got her
stories.
out?
I never thought I'd be the moral of one.
Oh, this is beautiful music too. Is it gonna be a theme though?
Couldn't explain why, but I was drawn to it.
Here it comes again, yeah. Just immediately the bluest
Great.
scene
Now
in the
training
entire
is just
show.
us. That's it. We're getting out of this nightmare. Alex went to the tree, right? Let's go.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna work like that. In the book,
We are not in a book. And even if we were, we know how it ends. Right over there.
Dang Weiss. Oh my god. And that's what happens to her when she doesn't want to follow the correct path. You have to go where the tree wants you to go.
Already tried that earlier. You can't get any closer to the tree that way.
You have to go through the right path.
Or the slightest idea how to get out.
Weiss again. What the hell?
I'd be sad too if I ruined the royal birthday.
Yeah,
These guys
the
again.
birthday thing from earlier.
What did Alex do next?
she
We're ready to move forward
went to the
again.
Crimson Castle and beat the Red King at his own game.
Heads up, you treasonous birthday ruiners!
Okay.
We want to go to the birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go to the birthday party.
Well, too bad, because we're going to...
The birthday party.
Yes. That's where we're taking you, as prisoners, for stealing royal property.
Is
What
it
if I offered
though?
you something better? The weapon of a powerful warrior.
Ooh, go on.
Not just a powerful warrior. The most
Ama-
powerful to ever live.
Yeah.
She was touched by magic.
Dang.
She gave her life
Weiss,
for thousands.
Ruby has to.
She took a message of hope to the stars.
Dang right. Put some
She saw the
respect
world
on
with her
that.
eyes. Take us to the royal birthday and allow us to present this most precious gift.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
By royal decree.
I don't know if I.
Then, you heard her.
That was a nice moment.
Birthday to
I don't know if
celebrate.
it kind of feels a little almost out of place, but I don't necessarily know. I'm just glad I'm glad, happy to have
Are you
it.
sure about this?
Yeah. Do you
Look,
want to keep that part
We
of
don't
her,
know
or
exactly what's going on. But for whatever reason, this place is putting
There's
us
the
on a
castle.
similar path as a book we all read as kids. I say we follow it,
yeah? We've already had enough.
pretending we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we've had enough of an example that we know we need to follow what's going on here. So, it would be nice. This episode's just. I was literally just about to say this episode has just barely started. This time goes so quickly. I'm already tearing up too, dude. I'm already tearing up. Toys, okay, so yes, the 5 of them, Jinxie from, yes, the raccoon, Brendan. Brendan Blaber, who we all kind of thought. Jamie Battle, townsperson, works RT. Toy Soldiers, Nick Kramer, Cody Hawkins, and Kaden Jensen. All right. Yeah, I did kind of vaguely recognize the Toy Soldiers' voices, so I did pretty much believe that it was our artsy people and not other voice actors as well. So we didn't meet the Curious Cat yet. I honestly thought that was going to happen, and at this point, it's basically all but confirmed for next episode. And anything else? Casey Williams, Martin Gonzalez, score by Martin Delia, Martin Gonzalez, Martin Delia, Matthew Wong, vocalist Casey Lee Williams. Peter Jones didn't contribute to this score. Okay. Shout out to all the animators, specifically Aaron Trochet. And just wow. Just wow. What an episode. Oh my god. I don't even know. I don't even know. It just keeps being so emo, and I love Volume 9 for that. I really do. This is just entirely like, thank you, Rooster Teeth. You didn't have to do it just for me. You really didn't. But I'm glad that you did. You know? Man. Really, like, I don't know. Just to get back to that moment with Ruby and the sword toward the end when she's talking to the guards, the toy soldiers. It did kind of feel like a little out of character for her in that moment. Like, she didn't have enough hope to fill the jar, but then she's talking about Penny so fondly, and it's like, I don't know. Hello, me from the future here. I'm inserting this part into the reaction video. It is now Sunday morning, and I just wanted to say that, like, the Ruby scene with Penny's sword does make a hell of a lot more sense to me now. It's not that Ruby's in this constant state of not having the hope. How could she have the hope? How could she be saying this? It's, well, you see, Ruby is a little self-aware that she was called out on not having enough hope, and she's trying to give that for herself now, which is also represented with the Ever After stopping the rain above them before she says that. So it does make a lot more sense now. The dialogue is... I don't know how to feel about the dialogue still. It feels similar to me as Crow in, like, Volume 8, Chapter 4, I think it was, where he's talking about gone, like, it's a childish dream, gone like everybody else. Just in his super emo phase. And I guess when you're as emo as that, you probably start to talk a little bit more like that. It starts to get, I don't want to say cringy, but you know what I mean. And so in a sense, it does kind of make sense, but it's just, it's almost like funny in a way that it wasn't intending to be. Either way, the scene does make a hell of a lot more sense to me now. So I just really felt like I should include this in the reaction because I didn't want to put slander and have you guys think that I feel that way for an entire week before the next reaction. So, moving on. I'm going to scroll back a little bit through the episode just to do it. So, just to get back into it, everything in this first scene is so pretty. I love it so much.
Just part of a story we all read as kids.
Specifically Blake in that shot, but also just like everything, like the lighting in here,
Can you tell us more about it?
I think there was one shot, where was that? There's one shot, I'll play it right here once I find it later, but there's one shot that rotates the camera, and anytime this show uses its 3D space and the fact that it is a 3D production to its effect, to the fullest extent, anytime that it does that is just perfect. Like, thank you. It's beautiful. It really grounds the audience in the scene. I've talked before about loving Volume 8, Chapter 4, the Tundra argument between Ren and Yang. I love that scene so much, and part of it is the cinematography of rotating the camera 360 degrees. I love it so much, and whenever we get, in Volume 8, I believe his name is Connor Pickens, one of the episode directors, had talked about the fact that he used a lot of orbits, which is rotating cameras, in Volume 8, and more power to him for that. Like, it sells things so well. I am all for it. You know, completely. Just use your 3D programs to their fullest. It's not something that anime typically does because it's not so easy to just rotate a camera in 3D space when you're a 2D production. So, little fantastic in this episode. Had a little moment of, oh, no, I am going to be with you on this journey. I'm not leaving. I could have left here. I didn't. I'm going to stay with you. So I appreciate that. We also do know that we're going to need to have Little and the Curious Cats around because the opening has them two interacting. Again, I said I wanted the Ever After to force the heroes along their path a little bit more. It's very clear that the Ever After is only allowing them to go on one set path, and at least they know the path because they know the fairy tale. So that's fun. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the bees earlier on. That was something, wasn't it? I feel like that's gonna be a thing for like the rest of this volume. Is they were already going on ahead, Blake and Yang kind of getting a little close, a little off in their own little ever after, little happily ever after that they might want to be on. So in that scene, they kind of left Ruby and Weiss behind a little bit. And I feel like that's going to continue. I feel like they're going to kind of be off doing their own thing. That's kind of how this is going to lead into a subplot for them to finally kind of, not conclude, but give a resolution, give a confirmation to Bumblebee of them to actually having a sort of amount of time to be together and have the Wonderland put them maybe on their own little journey. Not necessarily them entirely ignoring Ruby, but also maybe the Wonderland forces them in a sense to be together if they are going to be on sort of opposite ends of this bridge, like we saw in the opening and some preview info or preview material as well. So I do, as I've kind of said before, I just get the sense, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I do feel like the bees are going to resolve early on in this volume. I just feel like they kind of need to. I just don't want it to be another kind of volume 6 where it lasts the whole arc, because I feel like, not necessarily, I can see people talking about it in this way that it's kind of, I don't want to use the word baiting because I don't think it's going to be that at all, because I do see it as confirmation and of a slow burn, but I feel like there's been enough leading up to this where it's not a subplot, it's not character arcs that need to be established in Volume 9. This is something that's already been going on, right? It's already been a slow burn. It doesn't need to keep being a slow burn. It can just resolve itself earlier on in the volume. It's already had plenty enough build-up. It doesn't need so much in this volume. And clearly, as we've already seen, they're already kind of doing it. They're already kind of getting on that path. So it's happening whether people want it to or not. You know? Whether you're for it or not, at this point, if it's not so abundantly clear, like Arcos was in the Beacon era, Bumblebee is happening. And I'm glad that we're finally at a point where we can say that. This episode went by so quickly. It really did. And I get the feeling that it's going to be a continuous thing because volume, maybe it's just being so used to volume 7 and 8, because volume 8, I think volume 7 was around these episode lengths, give or take, but volume 8 had some pretty long episodes. Like the average runtime of the episodes themselves without the intro was like 17 minutes or so. I don't have the exact number, I don't know, but it feels like that's what it is. So going from that to having these shorter episodes and there only being 10 of them, I get the feeling that it's going to continue to be like, oh no, it still feels like there's time for one more scene, and then there's just not. So that's unfortunate. And I do feel like that's just how it's going to continue to be. But to go back to the checklist of things that I was talking about before the episode, what did we get? What didn't we get? We didn't get any Jean or Neo yet. I was thinking that the bunny, the pink bunny, figure that the raccoon had, that Jinxie had. I thought that was going to be something of Neo's. Maybe it's the hat. Maybe it would be Neo's hat. We didn't get the Cheshire Cat. We didn't see the Red King. We didn't get that plot bomb yet, but we do have a much bigger sense of what this volume is going to be like. The heroes now understand that they need to play things like the fairy tale, or else they're not going to be able to move forward, which is pretty awesome. I do love that the tree or whatever has been set up that way, and I do feel like the Cheshire Cat, or the Curious Cat, Robbie Damon's character, saying in one of those previews, "You do not go to the tree goes to you unless you're me." That is how we're going to understand moving forward along this fairy tale, is you have to do what the fairy tale wants, or you don't move forward at all. And if they don't have the best memory of the fairy tale, chances are that the tree is going to force them along paths that they're not prepared to take yet. And that is kind of honestly what I'm most looking forward to, is how well don't they know the fairy tale? What paths won't they know they need to take? And where might those paths lead? How does Neo factor in? Because I don't believe, out of any of the characters that Little has mentioned so far, I don't believe that any of them are Neo. And I know that a prominent theory, or one that I think Phoenix Knight had put out, was that this whole fairy tale is born of Neo's overactive imagination. And as much as that does kind of make sense in the context of this episode, I just feel like it has to be bigger than Neo. I feel like Volume 9 has to draw more from the gods and whatever their role is in this alternate world that isn't Remnant, because Remnant doesn't have two suns. It has to draw more from where the gods factor into this world than where Neo does. We already know that there are multiple universes, or multiple realms, multiple worlds. This is a whole other solar system from where Remnant was. So I just don't feel like it can be Neo. I guess to an extent it can be both, but that wouldn't be satisfying for me. We don't know who the narrator is yet. I feel like we're going to hear more and more from the narrator as the episode goes on, because we've already heard a lot of the different voice lines from the narrator in the one trailer, but we only have the one from the beginning of the first episode here, so I don't know where the rest of those are going to come into play. But I just do get the sense that we're still, because we only have one of those voice lines, we are still so far away from getting the rest until we can really understand who that person is. One theory that I had for it, for who that character is Summer Rose reading Ruby a bedtime story of the girl who fell through the world, because, hey, it's established that she was read that as a kid. Or it could also be Neo being read that fairy tale as well. For Jean, again, I don't know what I don't have anything that I want to see from Jean's arc more than I want the show to tell it. Essentially, there's not anything that I have hope for the character, because it's just, I'm still just intrigued by the show's decision to include him in this world, and wanting to see why it would do that, because it wouldn't do it if it didn't need to. And I could be talking in circles, but I feel like I've covered everything at this point, and that's just gonna about do it. I'm already looking forward to the reactions for this episode, having already seen quite a few of them earlier today for Chapter 1. And that all being said, it's been another week and another gut punch, so like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. I'm Raijin Rising. Have a good one.